Music. This is the AIM-120 AMRAAM, or Advanced Medium Range Air Missile, developed in 1987 by Hughes Aircraft Company and RAF, and it was designed to replace the semi-active radar A-7 Sparrow, and it is in service with the United States, Chile, Japan, and many more. Japan made their own beefy version called the AIM-4. I call those AMRAAMs. Get it? Japanese AMRAAMs. All right, welcome to Scenario Fulfillment. I'm Dasher, and today we're going to be taking a look at the A-10 AMRAAM, and stick around for the basic operations of the weapon as well. So let's get into it, and thank you for watching. There are 4 variants with multiple subvariants: the 1220 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, or A, B, C, and D, and sub-variants, meaning it was modified slightly not to justify changing the alternation letter like the A-10C5. So example, oh look, we changed the color of the A-10X. Okay, we'll call it A-10X2. Min aircraft carried this missile, but the Charlie was designed in mind for the F-22 Raptor. The C is different because it has its surfaces clipped in order to be stowed in the F-22's internal weapons bay. These surfaces are not interchangeable with the A-120A or B, but the Alpha doesn't matter because it's out of service. Pushing this missile is a PUS-6B Blue sustained solid propellant rocket motor. The true speed is classified, but it can reach supersonic, giving it a range greater than 20 mil. The missile knows where it's going because it receives information from the launching aircraft's radar, but the big thing about this missile is that it has its own radar, and that lets it guide onto a target by itself, but it can receive target updates from the launching aircraft. The thing that would make the target go boom is its 40 pounds blast fragmentation warhead, and can either directly impact the target or detonate within proximity. The Delta is the newest kit on the block with increased range, GPS antennas, and other various improvements. Why does it need GPS antennas? Well, it improves the navigational accuracy of the missile. These missiles are great because they allow for the launching aircraft to engage multiple targets simultaneously in the aircraft radar's track while scan mode, or TWWS. It allows for the aircraft radar to track a target with a good bit of information for the missile to work with while scanning for others. Once the pilot launches the missile at their primary target, they can switch to a secondary target in TWWS mode and launch another missile at the secondary. Not only that, he can lock up another target in TWWS and fire a third missile at it. The 3 missiles should then receive updates via data link from the aircraft's radar flying towards their own targets. So let's just say if the F-5X can carry 12 A-120 AMRAAMs and it has 12 targets it can engage, it could engage each target simultaneously in track while scan. Another advantage with track while scan in the A-120 is since it's using data link to guide towards their target, the target won't even be alerted by their radar warning system until the last few seconds due to the missile's radar being off mid-flight, but given the reconditions in the pilot's eyesight they could possibly still see the smoke from the launch. A bit of history: 2 Yugoslav and MiG-29s piloted by, forgive me if I butcher their names, Sladen Peric and Major Zoran Arsalvic were shot down by an F-15C Eagle with A-120 AMRAAMs launched by U.S. Air Force Captain Jeff Hung in Operation Allied Force, and this was done in track while scan. This makes him the first pilot to engage 2 air targets with missiles simultaneously and shoot them both down. Yes, his wingman was there, but it was determined that his missiles missed. Now the A-120 doesn't need the aircraft's radar to lock onto a target before a launch. It can be launched in its visual mode and will lock on to the first thing it sees, and this would be called a Mad Dog launch. Something amazing about the A-10D is it has the capability to launch and leave, also known as cooperative engagement capability. For example, a U.S. Air Force F-15 and a U.S. Navy E-2D AWACS works together to take down an aircraft. The U.S. Air Force F-15 fires an A-120 at their target from beyond visual range and turns around to home, while from a very safe distance the E-2D can guide that missile and via data link to the target. That's insane. Now it should be noted that these missiles don't care about what they lock onto because of the radar. Extreme caution is necessary to avoid friendly fire. Just like the Harpoon missile, the AMRAAM has the capability to home on a jamming source, so if the target is sporting a jammer like the L-23 wing pods, the missile can home on the jamming source passively until its radar can basically ignore the jammer and home on the target actively. Alright, let's take a look at the basic operations of the missile. 2 F-16s are in a combat air patrol mission when an AWACS informs them of a threat taking off from an enemy air base. The AWACS orders the 2 F-16s to intercept both F-16s and the threat aircraft are flying towards each other 50 miles apart. The flight leader proceeds to track him and track while scan. In this mode he can receive adequate information while scanning for other aircraft, and it won't alert the target aircraft, so think of it as a soft lock on the axe. Clears the fighters to engage. The flight leader launches his A-10 at a feasible range. The missile isn't active yet, it has to go through a timer before it activates, but it's still receiving updates from the launching aircraft about the target via data link. Once the timer's up, the missile activates and should alert the enemy aircraft. Thank you for watching. Help the channel grow by liking, subscribing, and commenting on what you want to see next. I will see you in the next one. Stay music, applause, music, applause, music, applause, safe.